Namaskar. Warm greetings to one and all present here. We are here to celebrate Odisha Art and Literature Festival 2019's inaugural function. Now, Odisha Art and Literature Festival believes in staying local and thinking global. It is a beyond the borders endeavor to create a space for Odia as well as Indian and international thinkers, poets, writers, artists, painters, musicologists, translators, lyricists, singers, playwrights, stage directors, cine artists, and social scientists for deliberations through panel discussions, interviews, readings, and performances. So with that, I would like to invite all our guests present here, with initially starting with Dr. Sitakanta Mahapatra. Please, sir, welcome you on the stage. Dr. Sitakanta Mahapatra is someone who has both the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan to his credit. He was in the IAS since 1961 until he retired in 1995. Apart from this, he is also an eminent poet and the Gyanpith awardee. We welcome you, sir. Now, I welcome Madam Dr. Pratibha Rai on the stage. Well, she is a celebrated fiction writer and is well known for her works like Yagyasini, Mahamoha, and so goes the unending list of the books she has authored. Besides, she has the famous Gyanpith Award and the Murti Devi Award to her credit. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have Dr. Ratan Thiam. Padma Shri Dr. Ratan Thiam is an esteemed playwright and former chairman National School of Drama, a former painter and proficient in direction, design, script and music. Thiam is undoubtedly considered as one of the leading contemporary theatre gurus. We are honored to have you, sir. Thank you, sir. With this, I welcome Dr. Helmut Niederle, who is currently the president of PEN International Austria chapter and is also an well-known author of more than 20 books. Now we have Dr. Satyanarayan Mahanti, who is a distinguished civil servant who was working as the SecGen National Human Rights Commission. Besides, he is also an eminent columnist and has masters from the Harvard University. Thank you, sir. I welcome Dr. Rita Chaudhary, an established poet, novelist, and Sahitya Academy Award recipient in the world of Assamese literature. She is currently the director of National Book Trust. With this, I invite Manu sir, the curator of Odisha Art and Literature Festival, who has 18 books to his credit. He is the founder of Dholi Books, which received the prestigious Publishing Next Industry Award for the Best Printed Book of the Year in Indian language in the year 2018. He is a man of his words, and I'm sure he'll offer us the best at OALF 2019. Thank you, sir. Now we have Dr. Manas Ranjan Mahapatra on board, the Director of Information, Public Relation, Art and Culture of North Eastern Council, is also the founder member in the Board of Advisors of Asian Festival of Children's Content. Besides, he is also in the Murti Devi Award Selection Committee of Bharatiya Gyanpith. Thank you so much, all the members here. I would like to request the bouquets of flowers to be given to the dignitaries. Can we have a big round of applause so as to wish us a great start for OLF 2019? Now, I would request Manu sir, the director of OLF, to speak a few words about it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected dignitaries on the dais and eminent listeners and writers around the globe, I heartily welcome you all. Today it is not only an immense pleasure but a great honor for me to welcome you all to the 4th edition of Odisha Art and Literature Festival in our city of Bhubaneswar. A few years ago, I started the OALF as a regional literary festival with participants mostly from Odia writers, but the vision to make it one of the major international literary gatherings in this part of India. Over the last couple of years, this literary festival has been an overwhelming participation of writers not only from other regions of India, but also from other parts of the globe. It has truly become an international festival for art and literature, both in terms of its range as well as character. Let me welcome you, my compatriots and participants both from other states of India, especially writers from eastern states. We have a special focus on literature being written in this part of India, and I welcome my fellow Odia writers, the esteemed audience, to the festival. OALF will not only provide you a chance to meet fellow writers, interact with many national and international literary and artistic personalities, but in these 3 days, you will have many interesting discussions and wonderful pieces of literature being showcased here. It is encouraging to see that gradually OALF is making inroads for cultural diplomacy. For example, in the coming year, we are going to realize our ideas of some interesting cultural and literary exchange between Austria and India. We have already established a partnership with the Writers Association like the Austrian chapter of PEN International, for which I express my gratitude to Dr. Niederle. And we have already established a partnership with the Writers Association like the Austrian chapter PEN International, whose president is participating in the festival for the second time. We have the pleasure of having friendship of renowned writers, poets and literary critics from a number of countries who are among us here today, and we are looking forward to hearing their works. We hope that they will get inspired by tranquil aura and cultural ambience of Bhubaneswar. Last but not least, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who is involved in the festival. This would have been impossible to organize such an onerous festival without support of our sponsors, the cooperation of writer friends and thinkers, and of course, an enthusiastic audience that is eager to meet the writers and artists. This edition comes with many special features. This time we have writers from Austria, from Slovenia, from USA, from Israel, Uzbekistan, Estonia, Denmark, Armenia and Spain, and Poland also. We are going to discuss their literature in their specific cultural context. In addition to that, we have fine and renowned writers across India reading, talking, discussing their works. Altogether, we will be having more than 50 participants divergent discussions. Again, we take pride in championing budding writers. We are happy to offer them the opportunity to showcase their work to our audience and also to exchange views with experienced counterparts. In the festival, we are going to present more than 30 books in various languages, in different genre and translations of literature from many languages published by Holy Books as well as by other publishers. Thanks to the tremendous proliferation of mass communication technology, we have far more opportunities to know each other, at least virtually. Our face-to-face encounter and a live interaction, however, can give these acquaintances more solid and meaningful dimension. We, in that way, have in a better position to understand each other and clear out mutual misunderstandings. In this moment of history, where we had never such greater access to each other, cultural diplomacy like such literature festival is of paramount importance to foster peace and stability throughout the world. Because whereas politicians, bounded in the interests of their respective nation states, have always their gazes fixed at borders and boundaries, writers have the capacities and courage to look behind and set the building bridges, a task that is a literary festival envisioned to perform along with its many other functions. I hope this festival in its multiple hues and shades will leave an everlasting impression on you. Let me once again welcome to this festival. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Dr. Sitakanta Mahapatra to kindly start lighting the lamp. And I would like other members to join him. With this, I would request Dr. Ratan Thiam to address us a few words. Please have a big hand for him.
Writers, poets, painters, artists, and connoisseurs of arts. Of this Odisha Art and Literature Festival 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, I feel deeply honored to be able to participate in this prestigious Art and Literature Festival of Odisha. It's really an amazing experience for me of my life to be with you in this city of temples known as Bhubaneswar. It's a great idea to hold this festival here. Friends, India is a great storyteller. It carries a great range of unlimited cultural tradition of our own country. Indian culture is very healthy, confederation of a variable history. Its region has developed its own method of survival with peculiar climatic conditions, embedded with the joyful and tearful expressions of life and death. Our culture teaches us the endeavor to reach spiritual understanding or attain a fuller or deeper life. I feel fortunate enough that I belong to this country, where our culture and performing art tradition and literature, painting flourished under the canopy of various ethnic colors with a composition of diverse elements and multiplicity. Our style of expression is indigenous. Establishment of connectivity with our ancestors, different type of rituals and fertility rites, Mother Earth, water, fire, sun, moon, sky, forest, and creatures are main resources of our traditional lyrics, our traditional performing art forms, traditional writing, and so on. It also encompasses our daily practices ranging from harvesting, reaping, and sowing to the protection of our own community and contribution towards the development of society. Our yearning to express through our writings, movement, colors, shape, architectural style, and various ways goes back to the earliest period of our civilization. We are very proud of our tradition and traditional art forms too. But there has been no serious attempt so far to promote art and culture in spite of introducing schemes which are not helping much more to the improvement of conservation of our cultural heritage. It is a well-known fact that it doesn't work. And that is the reason behind many dying art forms now, which are getting extinct due to lack of proper infrastructure worked out to save them. It is not only in the art form, but also the practitioner, the artist who are fighting their battle for survival. Because when a master or guru dies, the tradition may also follow the same. The pressure of globalization and giant market economy cannot be avoided so easily, and it is making its own impact in all the sensitive art form and remains as one of the most important issues of the contemporary Indian art and culture. Art is a journey of meditation for me. I think the most beautiful aspect of art is building a bridge between the inner and the outer aspects of life, between higher and abstract thinking. It shows the paths of ideas and inspiration and makes more human with powerful creative expressions which come out from our silent realm of mind. It is said that everything which eventuates on art has first been born in the world of mind, and we should therefore remember that the new world of tomorrow is hourly being built up by our thinking today. My view and presentation is a response for my existence in everyday life, which contains my tradition, inspiration from myths and legend, and even the tastiest cuisine that I eat daily. I try to make it a point to depict our own cultural identity and to bring awareness and consciousness of all the factors and elements which determines the future of a race in this age of globalization. Indian culture is flourished under the canopy of various ethnic colors with the composition of diverse elements and multiplicity. A culture is a mirror of ethics, range of arts, painting to drama, writing to sculpture, to the architecture, to the music, to the dance. Art has been always a creative effort of humanity's continuous search for appropriate forms to express the complicated layers of experience of the world and unlimited aspiration of human spirit. The greatest artist dwells upon inexhaustible invention and powerful emotions, intensity, producing a work of sufficiently stimulating. Filled with the wealth of artists whose life and work is precious contribution towards the development of culture, it creates a golden history. The maturity in art is a long journey and also continuous effort to perfection. It is a lifetime journey or more than that. One should aim for inexhaustible richness in every expression and work of art. It is difficult to understand the socio-political, economical, and religious situation in this country, which makes me worried about our future generation, particularly the humanity's changing attitude towards spiritual ideal. And today, I remember many things. Friends, we live in 21st century, which is an era of globalization, worldwide mobility, communication, and information. The definition of civilization itself is changing. The world is passing through a very painful crisis, and many nations are witnessing war and violence, which is affecting our existence. It is peremptory to have a collective and conscious effort by the art makers of this world to reflect the ideas of peace, harmony, sympathy, and humanity when we go through the creative process of making meaningful culture for human existence. If we want to enhance the quality of altruism, then we have to tone down our materialistic approach and work more and more towards focusing and creating awareness of art to make the society and individual a more cultured person, and there's a chance of making spiritual awakening. The wheel of time has brought many changes and unexpected features in our life. Our existence is loaded with many novel thoughts and surrounded by new innovative ideas. This great change has also naturally affected towards the cultural scenario of this world. And now we are experiencing in a totally new cultural landscape in the age of robotics, where we lose human creative ideas and skills, and we lose millions of jobs daily in this world. This has also created new dilemma about human cultural evolution, where we cannot find a place of our own body and mind in this new cultural landscape. It is intoxicating lifestyle, where our own security is projected by means of financial power, status symbol, physical possessions where our own self-significance is almost nil. The new frontier brought by technology has succeeded in penetrating all spheres of human being, human existence, and creative endeavor. It has also succeeded in cultivating a kind of isolation, individualization in human mind, and planted a very new concept of thinking process, which was not visible or existed even a few decades ago. Now, imageries are blurred. What is the relevance of writing? Will it be possible to establish a connectivity with the generation to come with our writing? What kind of imagination really do you have now? What kind of imageries which you are creating for the next generation? Our writing, painting, performance has been a connectivity with our ancestors, water, fire, trees, forests, many things, sun, moon, paddy fields, mountains, etc., etc. But gradually we witnessed that the lullaby faded away. We don't know where is the mother. We don't know where is the child. The emotions are no more there, the same. The bowel and philosophy of Lalan Fakir is not there anymore. Appreciated, nobody is appreciating that. Where are the beautiful tribal songs and the lyrics? Where are those drums of santals and the fragrance of mahua, intoxicating mahua drinks? No. It is faded away, everywhere, day by day. And I don't know what we are writing. If we are writing the connectivity of our ancestors, giving it to the coming generation, the imageries are blurred. It's an imagery of, I don't know, of robotics imageries. The robotics coming for me and serving my breakfast, my tea, and so on. The imageries are becoming different. So, and the nature of human being is such that it will find the easiest way to escape, get rid of despair, frustration. Anyway, being a human being, human spaces requires a suitable ambience and support of other fellow beings to lead a happy and healthy life, apart from air, water, and food. Art and culture may still be disturbing, but in the future, it may come as a resistance. It's a means of living. It's means of our existence, means of our spiritual journey. I think to connect with our younger generation, the generation to come. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really a great honor for me to be here, and I appreciate the Odisha, the organizers of Odisha Art and Literature Festival, particularly my dear friend Manu is here, who is a great organizer, and my dear friend Manas is there, who has been supporting all the time, and of course the great poets here who are really, who have given their own share in the development of our art and culture. Thank you all.
Now I request Dr. Pratibha Rai to come on the dais and speak a few words.
Good afternoon to everybody. Esteemed friends on the dais and of the dais. I am really very happy to see many known faces and many unknown faces in this hall. But when I think deeply, I think that all the faces are known to me. It is human faces. And maybe sometimes I think all the faces are unknown. I have to probe into the mind. Faces cannot speak everything of mind. Therefore, together the known faces and unknown faces makes this hall a very stimulating meeting festival of Odisha art and literature. Friends, please don't count the head in the hall, because when you count the head, you may be disappointed, but I am not disappointed. I am really very happy. I feel full, and I see that the whole hall is full. There is not a single vacant chair, because one head is only one head. But what the head thinks, it comes as thousand rays of light, making this hall brighter than anything. Therefore, I am very happy that so many writers, painters, I must say so many artists are together here for exchange of hearts, exchange of thoughts. That is the purpose of this type of festivals. And really, it gives me immense pleasure in being part of yet another edition of the Odisha Art and Literature Festival 2019. I was there year before, perhaps the first chapter. It was perhaps the first chapter. This is 16. 16, I don't know. I was in 16. So, first chapter. I was there in the first chapter, and it was little disappointing for friends, for other friends, by counting heads. But I was not disappointed. But after that I saw that gradually it is growing consistently ever since its first appearance. The contemporary scenario has seen a steady and booming rise of the literary festivals. There are so many literary festivals all over the world. Odisha Art and Literary Festival remains unique because of a unique combination of the different art forms along with literature. I congratulate Sri Mohandas for his multidisciplinary approach, which presupposes a healthy respect for all disciplines rooted in various cultures and expressed in many ways, in many languages. I have always said that language may be regional, definitely language is regional. It is cultural. it is regional. But when it is transformed into literature, having elements of universality, it becomes universal. So therefore, literature is universal, language is regional. So we are talking about literature, we are writers here. So we have used our local words or our regional words and have written literature which can be understood to other people if it is translated, which is required. I think we are living in islands. We all are living in islands. And we see the ocean around, and there is no way to cross the ocean to touch the other island, to reach the other island, to enrich the other island, and to embrace the people there. So this type of literature festival brings together, create a bridge between the different islands and has brought writer friends and artist friends from all over the world. When I address, I will not address Nilim from Assam or Madam Rita Chaudhary from Delhi or some other places. But I am from Odisha. I am Indian and friends are from India. When I address the foreign guests, I am not going to mention their countries. They belong to this world. And I am one of them. I belong to them. I belong to this world. So this should be the global attitude of the writers, and which the organizer has understood and has organized such a festival in which we have come very closer. Sri Monodas is really to be congratulated for his multidisciplinary approach, which presupposes a healthy respect to all disciplines rooted in various cultures and expressed in many ways, in many languages. I also congratulate him for his insights to bring together the tradition of areas on one platform, of different areas in one platform. But the perturbing complexities of the present world, the explosion of knowledge, the increase in barriers of the frontier of traditional disciplines among many creative thinkers will be resolved through festivals like this. This festival is compelling to have a common pool of wisdom and creativity and to be able to communicate across different barriers. Such a focus would also warn for the abolition of disciplinary isolation of the different creative expressions in favor of a truly interdisciplinary approach. This is a step towards the integrated opportunity of soul-searching and confluence of mind. Monodas might be facing such questions like, why art and literature together? I think that is only one answer he might be giving. He might be giving the answer why art and literature should break down to different disciplines. Why art and literature should break down to different disciplines. Literature, I think, is an art of expressing the lived-in experience in any culture, mostly its own culture, while putting the thoughts into words, a writer must be creating a picture of the event in its creative consciousness. In a sense, a writer is first a painter and then a writer. So, a writer is also an artist. Likewise, an artist, before expressing his creative talent on the canvas, must be writing and thinking with help of words. Without help of words we cannot think, even without words we cannot dream. Word is the key point to all the expressions of art, literature, music, whatever it may be. So, a painter must be creating a picture first with the help of words and visualizing the art before enriching the canvas with different colors. In a sense, first he writes, though not in pen and paper, but in his creative canvas. So where is an opaque wall? Where is an opaque wall between art and literature? Rather, they go hand in hand, and there is thin, transparent, beautiful screen separating art and literature as different, which makes it more beautiful. I thank other participants from all over the world to appreciate the unique idea of the festival. I am sure the different sessions will be touching, reaching and enriching for the audience by thoughtful deliberations of the learned participants. Literature is an art form which conveys meanings and messages through the written words, through novels, short stories, essays and poetry, and non-fiction also. Art includes all creative expressions which stimulates our senses. The definition of art is open, subjective and debatable. We cannot give a final, complete definition to art, also to literature. Literature and art form powerfully secures the human experiences through language. Then, as the human experience of literature is magnified through other art forms, one's connection within humanity is broadened and deepened. Literature is transformed into art form and it connects more deeply and more intimately to the audience. And I have that experience when people read my story, novels, and when it is played on the stage or in a dance form, it connects more people and they appreciate it more if it is properly composed. These points of contact enlarge the capacity of literature to make sense of life and the world. So therefore, literature and art are complementary to each other. Literature and art have been yoked together in myriad ways for centuries, enjoying a relationship of commonalities and differences. The authors, artists, readers, viewers, and the translators even, the interaction between them and their visual and written languages of adoption and translation is stimulating to each other. It is a relationship that both refuses and defines the boundaries between image and word, offsetting the ways in which artists and writers invest in the media. What can art do that literature cannot, and what can literature achieve that art cannot? At once productive and limiting this tension have been at work throughout the history of the relationship between literature and art, manifesting variously where painting, illustration, sculptures, photography or installations interested and intersect with literary writing in all its forms. Works which demand to be seen and read observe the dialogues and refusals between visual and written communication, and explicitly asks for us to reappraise how we consume literature and art. The relationship between literature and art is long-standing and multifaceted from the time of its creation. Let me tell you the story of the beginning of our life. When language was not there, words were not created, language was not created, but human beings in different pockets of the world, they were communicating with each other, and they have their creative talents also, and they were painting on the walls of the hills and rocks. You must have seen rock paintings. The Australian Aborigines that in that central Australia, the paintings on the body of Ulur Hills is amazing. So they didn't have any words at those times, but they were painting. How? We have to probe into it. When I was writing my novel on the famous Sun Temple of Pune long back in 83, I have visited several times the temple and has observed all the piece by piece, all the sculptures and all the architecture and the sculptors take their own stories. And my heroes, side heroes, the entire thing is told by the Sun Temple Pune. I was only noting down. So they speak. I felt that they are speaking. So it is the power of art. One of the best ways to understand a society is to look at the art, music and literature and its purposes it produces. What is the purpose? The purpose is love and peace, nothing else. It is not hatred. We don't want war. No writer want war. We want peace. We don't want to see our beautiful earth is destroying day by day. And what about the future of our children? So writers or the painters or the singers, what they sing? They sing. They have no religion. All the writers, they have no religion, Christian, Hindu, or whatever it may be. I say all the writers, all the artists, they have own religion, that is humanism. And they speak one language. Forget about their cultural language or regional language. They speak only one language, that is language of love. And they have only one God. It is not Allah it is not Allah or Ishwar or Jesus. It is the conscience, the human conscience is the God of every act, every human being. We have to give the readers the feeling, what we feel, then we will be successful. Otherwise not. That is the purpose of all the artists. The 20th century was a turning point in our conception of art and literature, which is mainly why contemporary artists write frequently, reach for new concepts, break with tradition, and reject classic notions of beauty. It is a question. The artist no longer tries to reflect reality, but rather tries to give expression to their inner world and feelings, which is far broader than reality. Today, the relationship between art and literature is an evolving and global concept. We have to be connected globally, open to the new interpretation, too fluid to be pinned down into compartments. I wish the festival all success. I wish my friends who have come to this city a very pleasant stay, and they should go back with a very happy memory, and they will love to come again and again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would request Dr. Helmut Nidalle to be on the stage and speak a few words to all of us.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen, precious friends. I'm very thankful that I'm here again. I was here last year, and I went home with a lot of ideas and some projects very functioning. So last year we met N.K. Ajay, the poet, and the book is now in print in translation, and Ajay will come in March to Austria. So you see, this festival made sense. We are now translating the book of Guha, coming from Shillong. I hope he's visiting us in autumn. The book will be soon be finished. There are some small corrections have to be done, and then the book is coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just develop a small little idea. When you switch on the TV and the radio, what do you hear normally? What do you see? A politician. A politician is talking, and they are saving the world every day, every minute. Sometimes I have the feeling there's a brotherhood of politicians who really think they dominate the world, and sometimes they say to the writers or to the artists, "You are not coming to my country." Hey, poets are not going from one country to the other. They are not allowed to develop the thing they really can do, building cultural bridges. How cheeky are these politicians? Are not we the ones who vote for them? Are not we paying the taxes that they have an income? And sometimes when journalists ask them, they became unfriendly. Hey, an unfriendly politician is supposed to give an answer and not to be cheeky and to be, I know it. I want to speak about this globalization. But what do these politicians and the people representing the economy really mean when they speak about globalization? This is, allow me to say, a discourse of domination. We say what are the rules, say some of these people, especially from the so-called first world. Now, let's change it around. how many languages are spoken today on this world? You have any idea? 100, 200, 300, 400? When I tell you, 6,500 languages are spoken on this globe. And now someone explains us what is globalization. We have to tell the politician what is globalization. All these 6,500 languages have to be heard. And this is now a symphony, not a cacophony, it is a symphony of the world when we try to build bridges. And this is what we have to demand of the politicians. You let the people go out and in, you don't send them to prison, and you are friendly when you ask. Thank you.
Now I call our advisor, Dr. Satyanarayan Mohanty, to address the August gathering. Dr. Satyanarayan Mohanty.
Dr. Sitakant Mahapatra, Dr. Pratibha Rai, Dr. Ratan Thiam, Dr. Helmut, Dr. Rita Chaudhary, and Mr. Manu Das, writers, poets, and artists present here, ladies and gentlemen. Like many others, I generally give good advice to myself, but I seldom follow it. Today is one such case. What's a good guide or advisor doing here, giving a speech? My job is to give advice. But having committed the original sin, I'll have to go ahead with it. And I'll not exploit the deniability by saying that Manu Das told me to give a speech that I am giving, and I won it up. And I'll try to be as brief as possible. I do keep coming to Orissa Art and Literary Festival, this being my third time. This is the third time in continuation. And I come here to listen to the powerful conversation. Powerful conversation among the writers, poets, artists. I seriously believe the artists are en avant and they think in advance on social issues, on the mainstream cultural and dominant view. And artists and writers are capable of looking ahead in aesthetic matters and in public affairs. I really want to partake in that, apart from a little selfish reason of visiting my hometown. Everything and everybody live not alone. Not in itself, nor in herself, but for creating a fraternity of kindred understanding and a fellowship of the world. So this is where the literary festival, like the Orissa Art and Literary Festival, play a very large role. In our middle class life, we always prize a sense of stagnancy, a sense that everything has happened and happened before, and we accept the everydayness and the cozy regularity of the middle class life. And it fortifies the culture of evasion. The questions we should be asking ourselves, we sidestep and don't ask those questions. I come here to get a chance to know how the possibilities are imagined, because writers and artists look at the world of possibilities. Possibility can create a renaissance, moving away from the status quo. When there's a great faith all around that the great acceleration or the so-called progress is irreversible, but it creates a disquiet. The disquiet is what Mr. Ratan Thiam referred to. Disquiet is all around us, our environment, our stratified society, our divided political space, our intolerance, our binary understanding of the world. So this also creates a disquiet for me in this post-truth era, in the fake news era. So I go back to the original writing on post-truth, that is George Orwell's Animal Farm. What touched me there is that, I'll quote it, the creature outside looked from pig to the man, and from man to the pig, and from pig to the man again. But already it was impossible to say which was which. We have reached a level in which instead of progressing continuously, consistently, we have come to a stage that the animals and humans have become indistinguishable. Then what will go now? And that probably what the Cheshire cat in Alice in the Wonderland said will be very helpful. Alice asked, where should I go? The cat said, depends on where you want to end up. So in this divided world, we'll have to proceed with that. One of the very touching things which came out of the novel of Arundhati Ray, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. So how do you tell a sacred story? By slowly becoming everybody? The answer was no. By slowly becoming everything. So the challenge before our generation, the writers, the poets, the artists, is how do you treat this moral adventure of an individual and maybe the man in aggregate. I must also apologize because in Indian culture, when great writers who are present there on the stage are there, when the Himalayas, Kanchenjunga, everyone is present, the chance will not be given to Borneo Hill. Okay, but I apologize, I took some time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call upon stage Dr. Rita Chaudhary.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, respected co-authors, artists from different parts of the world, and ladies and gentlemen, I really feel very honored to be here in this prestigious festival of literature and art. The people sitting in front of me all have their own system of values, their own ideas, their understanding, and their own way of narrating their stories or speaking the truth or drawing a scenario. So I don't think there is any need to share or speak about the intellectual side of literature and art. I also would like to share my personal feelings with my co-authors, because somewhere we are standing on the same platform, and when we speak, we want to speak about an epic which we are carrying inside, but only we can speak or read the preface. But a glance, a smile, a wink can convey what we want to convey, because these are the words of the heart. We exchange friendship, we exchange love, we exchange humanity in this great or very fearful period of loneliness created by the virtual world. I have come a long way to reach here, where I can share with you my experiences, my ideas. I was an activist of Dasa meditation, then I joined as a lecturer, and I served for 25 years, then I joined as director of National Book Trust, and in this entire period, I tried to write. So my experiences are different, and in different stages of my life, I have learned so many things. I had the opportunity to look at the world from different perspectives, from different standpoint. So at this age, after seeing so many things in my life, the ups and downs, so many positives and negatives, I have learned finally the truth of humanity. I believe in this human civilization. This civilization is not created with only petals of flowers. The civilization is a crude reality. And we have to sustain with that reality, this crudity of life. And to sustain a small part of the civilization, of humanity or human being, we select or we create a very small or narrow land parallel to the bigger one, which is dampened with the blood oozed out of the fighting for powers, wealth, or all other physical needs. We create a small land, and this land is created by people like us. This land is created by people with heart that gives balance to the civilizations. We are like skin in a body. Body is a big thing, but the skin is a thin layer. But we allow the body to perspirate. We allow the body to feel, to understand. We allow, I give the body the senses, and we protect the completely open, that crude existence with a smooth protection. We protect it from outside negativities. But the body has to give also proper support to the skin for the benefit of the body itself. So the society, so these are the platform created by this body, giving the skin the life for the benefit of the body. That is the society at large. So skin is the thin layer, but the face of good, beautiful creation of Mother Nature. So Mother Nature has given us the power to observe, to analyze, the power to, to memorize and create a storehouse of knowledge. That is the basis of civilization. And this basis created on the accumulated knowledge of generations of our forefathers. This base gives sustainability to our civilization. I personally feel that we can demolish the boundary of hatred, we can demolish the boundary of loneliness, negativities, and create a space where we can exchange our hearts. Because we all understand, we are all creative people. We all know that when we speak on the social platform, that is a different person. And when we go back and face ourselves, we see so many other realities. We have loneliness, we have frustrations, we have so many things. We need love. And this, to neutralize all these things, to get a solution, we find a way to express, and we create the bridge and connect with our readers and the people who like the artwork. We are all artists, as told by we fondly call her Baido, Pratibha Baido, or Samia people, this is the time when we can, without saying anything, we can exchange what is there inside our heart. There are so many boundaries in this world, so many political, economic, so many boundaries, so many negativities. But when we come, when we meet, somewhere we feel the peace. Somewhere we think that we are not isolated. We are not suffering alone. There are many people who can understand. We exchange all these things, and we ventilate, and live in us this kind of environment, and live in us, give us the energy or the motivation to create more. I'd like to thank the organizer for giving this platform to meet so many people from so many places of the world, and to understand that from this narrowness, or from this where we live, we don't think that this is absolutely narrow, but we come from a particular place, from a particular cultural environment, from a particular social environment, but we enter to a bigger place. And this bigger place, from bigger place, we learn. Above everything, there is the idea of called humanity, which encompasses all the positivities of this world. And I hope to make it more positive. We'll make it more positive, more vibrant, more human, so that we can contribute to the very crudeness and the bigger body of civilization with the thin skin of positivity and love and greatness and affection, understanding. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we will be having the book releases. First, we have the book Aina Micha Kohena on the stage. By
Let me include, this book is a collection of essays published in various national magazines and online newspapers by our esteemed advisor, and they were all appreciated. The were the quaint and many in the Samaj in Odia. It has been rarely reviewed also. So we now request our chief guest and other dignitaries in the dais to release the book.
next we have Sopanara Jajabara.
This is a collection of poems by Dr. Helmut Niederle in Germany, well translated into Oriya directly from Germany by Sarita Janamani. Unfortunately, she could not make it this time to Odisha Art and Literature Festival, who is a backbone of the Literature Festival. She is not there, but her book is here. And we are happy, grateful that Dr. Niederle is here also to see the books.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, and dear friends, understand, Sarita Janamani, living in Austria for many years. She is an Austrian. Whoever lives in Austria is an Austrian. I don't want these hyphen things. Between Sarita Janamani and me, they developed a very subtle friendship. So, she translates me into her mother tongue, and I translate her in my mother tongue. Nothing more has to be said. Thank you.
Next we have The Undying Flame, translated by Ajay Mahala.
Oliva Chita, written by the first novel in Odia in a form of letters, written by Basunda Kumari Devi and duly translated into English by Mr. Ajay Mahala here. I congratulate Ajay Mahala to join us in the reading house. Sorry, I invite our great friend Pinaki De, who has made this cover. And anybody in India is well aware of Pinaki De. We are so grateful that he is there. I invite him to come into the dais to join with the release of the book. Who has made this cover? Pinaki De.
I am very thankful the organizers have given me this opportunity for getting my book released on this occasion. It was a part of a bigger project actually. The entire work of Vasanta Kumari Patnaik were to be translated, and one of my fellows gave me this opportunity to translate this particular book and another poetry book. Actually, I don't like to go on the footprints of someone, so I do writing myself. I do write stories and write poems also. But doing a translation is a job I don't like, because somebody has worked and I have to just match my footsteps with somebody. I don't like. But while translating, every day I got a very new experience, because she was a lady who wrote this novel in 1950s. It is an epistolary novel. It's a novel in the form of letters. So there are almost 66 letters in this book, written over a period of 6 months. And here, all the feelings of a lady who is in love with someone is written here. It finds expression here. So while translating this, so I got involved with the lady who, this writer. She was a reclusive Odia writer, a woman writer. She was unmarried and she died in the year 2013. So I almost fell in love with her dead soul, because I could go to the heart of that great lady who wrote this novel. This was a big experience. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mala. Now I request CP Levin Byron from from Israel, to join us releasing her book, which she has come all the way from Israel to our festival. We are grateful. Her book has been published by Copper Coin in one of the finest publishing house in poetry in India, and we are here to release her book.
Good evening. Thank you, Manu Dash, for giving me the opportunity to launch my book here. I'm very, very excited to be here and to celebrate with you. I just saw it the first time 2 hours ago. Manu saw the child before me. I don't think there is a better place in the world to launch a book that its name is Doubting the Soul's Immortality. So India and Orissa is the best place in the world to launch this book. Thank you very much.
Now I would request our chief guest, Dr. Sitakanta Mahapatra, to kindly speak a few words.
Friends, I am thankful to the organizers of Art and Literature Festival of Orissa for giving me this opportunity to be here with you this evening and share some of my ideas we are living and writing at a time which is perhaps more complex, more overburdened, and more demanding than any other period in human history. Long before God had died, but we humans have continued to live and have to may not be too well and often sick. They were luckier, those people who at their time listened to Jesus and acted as per his bidding. Jesus had said, "Follow me." No man, having put his land to the plough and looking back to is fit for the kingdom of God. Christ's disciples left their nets, their boats, their homes, their families, and followed them. For he had said, Jesus said, "Take no thought for the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." But today we all, more so creative writers, ask anxiously, where shall we go? Whom shall we follow? When we leave our nets, and what do we convey through our incompetent words to others, our readers? And above all, is there a kingdom of the dead God or even the minor gods? As a writer, I have been plagued by this self-doubt. Perhaps we are destined not to leave our nets, not to follow anyone other than our soul and its mystery. On the other hand, to be entangled, intertwined in the nets of the world, the sansar, as we say. And at the most we seek liberation in and through it, this world. In short, it is a dialectic between our soul and the world, between mystery and overreaching cognitive pride which we share in our times. But for me, both are realities. Perhaps more than that, all the products of cognition and sense perception. They are something for which and at whose call a Beethoven, a Van Gogh, a Mandelstam, and a Kabir had staked their lives. Then comes the realization how fleeting our life is, and still more astonishing that a tree, a star, the gods, all who are also fleeting, seem very much to require us for their reality. And not merely that, they do concern us, disturb us, and impart new meanings and new realizations to our understanding of the world. It would thus seem to be a marriage of fleetingness. And we, the most fleeting, have to gratefully remember how they have given us the awareness of life and its meaning. Impermanence is our common destiny. Perhaps it is as well, but it does spring from the realization, as Whitman says, each of us inevitable, each of us limitless, and each of us here as divine as any ones they are. The space for poetry and literature, for that matter, all creative arts, friends, you must have realized it has sunk, the space has sunk very badly today. Other forces, other challenges have occupied the space earlier available to the creative space and parallel to it. As a result, the poet, the creative writer get marginalized. It is a loss for the writers and for the community, or a gain. But I, for one, feel that it had to happen, this marginalization. And it is perhaps welcome. It can insulate the writer from the rat races and simultaneously awaken a deep sense of his dignity and his true commitment to society, to console and stand by his fellow men. Maybe out of this silence and true aloneness, which is very different from loneliness, a deep love for life and fellow men emerges. For a genuine rebel is one who can say no and walk away without laying any claim to martyrdom. I believe in Octavio Paz's words. The writer should be a sniper. He should endure solitude. He should know himself to be a marginalized being. It is both a curse and a blessing that writers are marginalized. But marginalization should not result in or be equivalent to unconcern for our fellow men, for they explain and constitute a part of our being. As regards language in my writing, I have always assigned a very careful place to it. Language to me is thought, is experience. In the connectivity of thought, language and experience, object and image both occupy a seminal place. The three are inseparable. It is more than an instrument of communication, it is an instrument for ordering of our experience, of comprehending reality. I have inherited the spoken words and images as all of us have in our living in society. Thought follows language, and whatever else I learned of poetry, imagery, symbolism, new vision of reality, concepts, etc., remain only as accretions of this very solid substratum of language I learned in my childhood. At the most, I tried to see when I came to read them. Neruda, Paz, Borges, Yanis Rizzo, Eliot, Rilke, to name a few, where they related to me and spoke to me in terms of experience, imagery, way of apprehending reality, and above all, use of language and a mechanism of dredging the psyche. Can one ever make language say what one wants to say? And what it has perhaps not said before? I don't know. I only know it has been for me a silent struggle that seems never ending. I feel this is perhaps a common destiny for all sensitive writers. Sometimes I have treated language as my intimate enemy, to be engaged in a duel. Some other time, as a worshipful carpenter, I have bowed before the timber of language to serve as an idol. In one sense, I have always felt poetry's efficacy is almost nil. Have we ever known when a lyric stopped carpet bombing of Vietnam? Have we ever learnt a poem on moonrise stopped a tank of Tiananmen? Gandhiji, in his letter to Rabindranath Tagore, had said, I cannot console the hungry with a song from Kabir. And yet in another view, the strength of poetry is immeasurable. It is like Jesus writing in sand, which is recorded in chapter 8 of St. John's Gospel. Seamus Heaney quotes this episode. Seamus Heaney, the poet, quotes it in extenso. Once the Pharisees brought to Jesus a woman who they said was caught red-handed in an act of adultery. To provoke Jesus, they said, Moses had ordained that such people should be stoned to death. What sayest thou? They asked Jesus. Jesus kept silent with his head bent and continued scribbling on the sand. After they repeated the question twice, thrice, he raised his head and said, He among you who has never sinned, let him be the first to throw a stone at her. So saying, he went on, scribbling with a head bent. Some time passed. When he raised his head, he saw only the woman standing and nobody around. He asked the woman, did anyone throw a stone at you? And she replied, no, my Lord Jesus. Jesus said, I also forgive you. Go back and sin no more. It is not a telling allegory for the efficacy of words now, seemingly powerless. They can, I believe, transform lives and therefore the world. How they can make us see life again with a new pair of eyes. And what was the meaning of Jesus scribbling in silence? It was a silent writing on sand that leaves the accusers and the accused wordless, even as he leads to a renewal of their being. I'd like to end this personal note on how and why, after all, I have continued dabbling in something exotic like poetry all these years. I want to end with two quotes from my favorite two Greek poets, George Seferis and Yanis Ritso. Seferis. The poem is an old man on the river bank, Cairo. I want no more to speak simply, to be granted this grace, because we have burdened song with so much music that it is gradually sinking, and we have abandoned our art so much that its features have been eaten away by gold. And it is time to say our few words, because tomorrow the soul sets sail. Yes, it is time, as Seferi says, it is high time. And Rousseau, I quote, in his enviable words, as to say this. Then it came about, my friends, that we learned talking together, quietly and simply. We understand each other now, and tomorrow I say we will be simpler still. We will find the exact words that carry the same weight in all hearts and the lips of all, so that we may express what we feel, and people will smile at us and say, such poems we can ourselves can make 100 an hour. Good. We wish it so, because we do not sing to separate ourselves from the world, to unite ourselves with the world is we sing. Yes, to unite us with the world we must sing. Sing for all its plenitude, its sun-laden promises, its dark reality, its episodes of terror that may benumb the imagination and make poetry retreat faced by this incomprehensible horror, and yet carry on with the hope that poetry's wordlessness will emerge someday as a phoenix with words on its beak. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patient hearing.
Thank you so much, sir. Lastly, I would like to request Manas Ranjan Mahapatra to kindly come on the stage and give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, that you are all.
OALF 2019 is immensely grateful to its executive sponsor, the Northeastern Council. It is immensely grateful to its associate sponsors, Coal India Limited, Mother Dairy, Phenolics Industries, Paradip Phosphate Limited, Brown Mass Aerospace, NCDC. OALF is supported by Central University of Odisha, the Punch and Dholi Books.